The title, Reality and Other Illusions. And let's start to look by what is it a magician do? What is a magic trick really? And a magic trick would be like, the definition I can give you is probably the best by one of the great masters of our art, Arturo de Ascanio from Spain. He said, a magic trick is the contrast between an initial and a final situation. What does he mean by that? Let's use a practical example. Standing in front of you with both my sleeves rolled up, a 10-euro note in my hands. That would define our initial situation. You can see both empty hands, you can see the note. I very slowly fold it. Now 5 euros, 2 euros 50, 1 euro 25. If I fold it again, half of that. But once I unfold it, the 10 becomes 20, the 20 becomes 50, the 50 becomes 100. And that, again with the sleeves rolled up. You like that one, right? Now that is the definition of the final situation. What makes the magic trick is the space in between, because these are obviously real situations. You saw the 10, you see the 100. What happened in between is that your mind, the way you perceive the world, the way you learned about the world, doesn't have a really good explanation how we came from A to B. Because, of course, there's a secret C, so I went from A to C and from C to B, but that's just the method. The interesting thing is then a magic trick obviously has not so much to do with what happens here in reality. A magic trick has a lot to do with what happens to you as a spectator, as an audience. And let's have a better example of this. And for this, I would like to call on a courageous gentleman. This is Loris, somewhere in the audience. Loris, if everyone gives you an encouraging applause, please join me here on stage. Loris, ladies and gentlemen. So, hi, thanks a lot. And Loris, I should say that your help is very much appreciated. In fact, I would like to make you a little gift of this brand new 100s. I would like to. Cannot afford it, really. But Loris, for the moment, let's pretend this is yours. Yep, pretend. Because if some cheating is about to happen here, in case, no, and chances are pretty good, then it's not your money. You don't have to be concerned. Loris, I'm not sure if it happened to you. I'm sure to someone here in the audience or the people watching, you're in a foreign country, busy marketplace, you want to pay, you don't have the proper money with you. Suddenly, out of nowhere, there are some very helpful people saying, change for you, make good rate. Wonderful. Yeah, you heard about this or yes. Something? And your life experience, Loris, will tell you that you should not trust these people completely. Rather, not at all. But then you say, okay, but if I watch really closely, so let's try what happens. But in this case, it's not me that will count the money. We make it even fairer. You will count the money. So please, one by one, onto my hand. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And Loris, for those sitting further away, this feels like real money. They're all single. There's an envelope there. Could I ask you to have a look inside, make sure it's empty, keep the envelope open for a moment. The notes counted by Loris. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. At the tips of my fingers, right into the envelope. If you hold it for a moment, Loris, usually you would say 100 for 100, a fair deal. Good rate, no? But if, and that's my point, if this was happening in real life, somewhere in the street, at this point, Loris would have lost 10 euros. Let's check. Nice. Loris, is there anything left inside? Honestly, there is. Thanks. And yet these are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. But I can feel a certain skepticism in the audience. You notice when there's no applause. Yeah? So no, you say, no, this is not possible. He's so close, we've watched so closely. These are still 10, he only makes us believe it's like 9. No, Loris, you yourself, you can count. Onto my hand, it's really just 9. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 2, 4, 6, 8. Anybody know this guy? No, Loris, that's okay. I mean, let's not fight over 10 euros or 20. I have an idea. We have some more. Loris, if you hold your left hand like this for a moment, please. Let's just take one of these and say this is number 1. Okay, and we add like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we put one more from here, so now we have 10 again. Or 11, 10. Maybe you count onto the wallet. I don't touch anything. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, what is this again that you're studying? Well, no, Loris, this is not about you. Just let me put aside the rest, because sometimes, sometimes you think it's just 7 here. I mean, it feels like 7. If you check, they're all single, yes. But let's count just to make sure. So if you hold this, everyone can see. So this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I knew there was one more. 18 for 100. Very good rate, Loris. But all my money. But the applause that we share. Thanks so much. Thanks so, Loris. Honestly, I love my job. Just see me in a bank. Well. Now, what does this example tell us? And I think it's a very important point. Something that you know intellectually, I guess, but something that even though we know it, we don't really believe from the bottom of our heart. What just happened here on stage, Loris and I experienced, I mean, it was the same situation, but we experienced it completely differently, I hope. Because Loris was wondering, where the hell does all the money come from, and more importantly, where does it go to? Whereas I was busy doing it. So I knew exactly what was going on. I was actually managing it. But the point I want to make is, this is not just true for this situation, or for you as an audience. This is true whenever there are 2 or more people experiencing one situation. Because there's always that personal point of view defined by the knowledge you have, by your preferences, by your cultural background. Whenever 2 people experience the same situation, it's not the same for them. The result, the impact on each of them is different. And this is something we should know. Yeah, we know sometimes, there's quarrels starting over this, but yet we cling to our own view and saying, he's wrong. Yeah, not me. And in fact, we're both wrong, or everyone is, because we are not made to perceive reality, if it is out there somewhere, perfectly. We are not made for that. We're not capable for this. Instead, what we do, and the magic shows us this, we have a model of the world in our head, a model of what's happening around us that we create, and that we frantically try to keep up with what's outside through all the input that we get with our senses. But again, this is defined by our background, our knowledge, by so many things. And there's a very important point here that I cannot stress enough. This model, and there are a lot of students here, this model, who is responsible for this model? Don't blame your teachers, don't blame your leaders, be they political or religious or whatever. Of course, they shape your model, they influence your model. Science, all these things. But the responsibility for the model is yours, because you have to choose who are the people that I trust. And you have the responsibility to check this model, make sure, is it still more or less fitting for what is going on out there?